Now I'm going to say something. You're going to have to hold on to your seat a little bit. I'm convinced, beyond doubt, that in the same sense, God has abandoned America. You can't even count how many million pornographic websites there are. When a society is abandoned by God, it operates out of its own perverse sexual passion without restraint. So the first thing that you look for in a society, if you're trying to discern whether God has abandoned that society, is whether or not that society has gone through a sexual revolution so that illicit sex, adultery, every form of immorality is accepted as normal in that society. And we're there. You know a society has been abandoned by God when it celebrates lesbian sex. Unnatural, unthinkable. So you follow a sexual revolution with a homosexual revolution. And homosexuality becomes normalized. And you look at this world and you say, rampant sexual immorality, out of control, destroying people willy-nilly, even in the church, even in the leadership of the church. Homosexuality, same thing, rampant, out of control, demanding to be accepted as normal, and the society rushing to affirm that acceptance. Isn't there anybody in the system who would stand up and call this what it really is? A massive moral disaster. Can't they see it? Can't they figure it out? No. No. 1 Corinthians 1 says, man by wisdom knew not God. Human wisdom, just on its own, doesn't get there. Then you add that the God of this world has blinded the minds of them that do not believe, and you've got a compounding blindness. And then you add the fact that they are blinded by virtue of the sweeping, dominating elements of their culture. And you're just not going to get anybody to rise up and take that position and have people rally around it. You're going to have candidates running for president who were having an affair while their wife was in chemotherapy. You're going to have more people in leadership in the country outing themselves as homosexuals. If you think you've seen a lot of that, you haven't seen any of it yet. As it becomes more and more accepted. Always about truth. Always. From the garden, it started out as a war of truth, right? God says, you eat the fruit, you'll die. Satan says, no, you won't. You shall not surely die. There it is. Adam and Eve believed Satan. Thought God was lying to them. That started the truth war. It's going on today. It's always about the truth. Simple. This happens when you suppress the truth. What truth? Real truth. As Francis Schaeffer used to say, the true truth. Biblical truth. You suppress this, that's where you go. Take the Word of God out of the place of its supremacy, and you suppress the truth. Deny that it's true, deny its veracity, deny its authenticity, deny its inerrancy, deny its inspiration, deny its sufficiency, deny its clarity. That's the latest one. That nobody really knows what the Bible means anyway. It's a wonderful book. We believe God gave it to us, but we have no idea what it means. That's convenient. Only in the modern world do we not get it. You go back to God. The massive first cause of everything. So that's in the fabric of being human. And you know you have to work hard for a couple of 100 years to convince an entire society that that's nonsense. And that what makes sense is nobody times nothing equals everything. And though it doesn't make sense, it works in a totally immoral culture, because if there's no creator, there's no judge. So reason is the first thing that shows you God. The second thing is morality, which is built into the fabric of all of us, and has to again be cultivated to the point where you've got a society of people whose reason doesn't need God and whose sense of morality has been totally perverted. Here we are. Here we are. Even though they knew God, that is humanity, that is society, in any given period of time, by God's creative design, have the knowledge of moral law and reason that leads them back to a moral lawgiver and a judge and a creator. Even though they know that innately, they did not honor him as God or give thanks. But instead of doing what was reasonable and moral, they became empty in their speculations, and their foolish heart was darkened. And the bottom line is that they don't like the God their reason leads them to, and they don't like the God that their innate sense of what is right and wrong leads them to. And so they abandon that God, and the lights go out. God only wants one thing out of a nation. Listen and believe this book. There's only one solution, and that's the truth. The truth by which God saves, by which God sanctifies. And if this nation will respond and listen to His truth, God will open the floodgates. And we might be the greatest recovery story in history. But there's no other way than that people listen to me and walk in my ways. It's not going to happen if there's a famine of the hearing of the Word of God. Pray that the Word, as Paul said, would have free course, and that it would run with all its power across this land.